Okay. I think I can move on to data analytics architecture. Okay. Um, we have seen this. Okay. We have seen this. Probably we are seeing it again and again. Okay. You need to know how the data is flowing through in the data analytics platform. Okay. It always starts with source, then we ingest, then we transform and publish. I am telling it, you might have by naturally got it in your mind. That's how the data flow. I am telling it because when you are preparing your CV, some of you already trying it out, you need to be clear about this one. From which source system you extracted the data and what type of transformations you applied, what type of technologies that you have used. Okay, these and all need to be little clear in your mind. So that's why I just brought it in. It's very simple thing actually. I think definitely it got it in your mind at the moment. You need to know the data flow because when you putting the details in the CV, you need to be clear about your roles on the ingestion, what you have done in roles on you what transformations you have done, from which source system you extracted the data and ingested it, what type of mechanism you use to connect to that source system. This and all need to be little clear because most of the ingestion questions are related to how did you establish the connectivity to the source system. Okay, and source system will send different files on daily basis, or if it's a database table, how will you identify only the changed records from the yesterday records. Okay, those type of the questions will come. For that it need to be registered in your mind what is the data flow in the data analytics project. The next one I have talked about just about the source data generation frequency. Is the data coming on? I think Vignesh is asked about streaming one. Probably we'll discuss at the end, Vignesh, streaming one. Either the data is generated at the end of the day, or it's generated every 30 minutes, or it's generating every 1 hour, or it's continuously generated. When it's continuously generated, we can't use the data factory. We need the different technology before using the data factory. That is called the stream processing or real-time data processing. Okay, but this course don't cover that one, but I will give you the idea. We are not going to put that in the CV. It's very limited projects are using the real-time processing at the moment, but we need to have little idea about it. Definitely I will give the clear idea how to handle the real-time processing as well at the end of the course. Again, the data storage service selection. Okay, we need to store data in with respect to our architecture. There are two places we need to store the data. Okay, when read the data from the source and ingest in the first layer, landing layer or branch layer, you need a storage service. And after transforming and integrating your source data, when you publishing it, you need the data storage service. I don't think I need to explain what is data storage service, right? A service which allows us to store the huge data. Okay, data factory is first of all not a data storage service, it's a data processing service. It will read and transform the data, but you need some data storage service to connect to data factory to store the data. Okay, so we mainly using two storage services here. One is Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2, another one is Azure SQL Database. Okay, so now the question will come. Okay, I think now we can able to discuss about one interview question. If any of you try to answer me, then I have one place I mentioned about in the video. Okay, if you any of you will answer me, that is great. Otherwise I will answer it, no problem at all. We got two storage services. One is Azure SQL Database, another one is Azure Data Lake Storage. Can you justify why we have used Azure Data Lake Storage as a storage service in landing layer?
So to store the file, we are storing the file as file in the data lake storage service, because it will in case if the table is corrupted or if the DB is corrupted, we can retrieve the data from the file.
First part is right, file based storage is right. The second part I'm little doubtful, uh, but it's good actually. Okay, one part is right definitely. Okay, okay. I will try to explain. Probably I have stored labs. Okay, okay. If you look at the first architecture, the source data coming from the different services. Okay, and it can be in the different formats. It can be either structured data or semi-structured data or unstructured data. Okay, it can be in any format. Okay, so if, for example, can I able to, we got two services at the moment. One is the data lake storage and SQL database. We have got these many formats. Okay, these many formats. Can I able to store the data coming from delimited text into the database? We will probably assuming that instead of using data lake storage account, I would like to use Azure SQL database here. We will try to compare with the formats that we have got in our architecture. Okay, can I able to store CSV file in the database table? Yes, yeah, answer is yes, because it's a structured data, it can able to fit in, you can able to write it. Even the source data coming from the CSV file, data factory can able to load into the database table. Can I able to store the data in the Excel into the database table? Yeah, you are confident. Yes, actually it's possible. Okay, and table to table obviously possible. Okay, and can I store the data from Parquet into the database table? Yes, that is also answer is yes, absolutely possible. But can I store the data in JSON into the database table?
No.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Now they are evolving the technology to store it, but the very plain answer is no. Okay, if JSON don't have any complex data type. Complex data type means it's plain JSON. Possibly you can able to load it, but the JSON is not normally plain file. It's containing arrays and dictionaries, so you can't able to store JSON data into the SQL database. Can we store XML into the SQL Server database?
Yes.
Yes and no. Again, actually, if you were one, for example, I am talking about one to one, Balji. One XML to one table, is it possible, Balji?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
One XML to one. Okay.
All of the data in one XML file into the one table. Yeah, multiple tables, it's possible. That's true. I agree. Okay. Again, and sorry, Balji. Yeah,
It is up to the how we are going to read based on the tags, right? Because in my past project it was completely to deal with the XML
Yeah.
loading into the SQL Server database.
Yeah.
We have got XML data type as well, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, but you need to. Okay, you are right. Actually, you can store entire XML file as one file in the database table in the blab format. But in terms of usability, okay, again you need to convert that into right. Yeah. Okay, it's good. Okay, we are discussing very depth. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Obviously, unstructured data we can't able to store in the database table. Okay. For example, in the web page, I can't able to store in the database table. A PDF I can't able to store in the database table, and the music files also I can't store into the database table. So these many variations are possible. It's not necessary that our project need to have all of these variations, but in the future the variations can come. We are not only developing the analytical system only for using it today. So when coming to the landing layer, we need the storage system which can able to adapt into all of the format that we have discussed at the moment. The database could be able to adapt some of them as long as the data is in structured format, but when come to the semi-structured and unstructured, it can't be able to adapt it. That's why we have used the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Now also JSON is coming. We got the complex JSON files are coming, and it is we call it as file based storage for the simplicity. Okay, for you to understand at this point of time. File based storage don't allow to store the unstructured data. Unstructured data means binary data. Internally it's actually object file based storage. Okay, that's why it's allowing it. We don't go too depth. We need to understand the object oriented programming, what is object and why it's allowing to store it, because all of that complexity Microsoft already taken care about it. Your simple answer is it can able to store structured data, unstructured data and semi-structured data in the file format. That is very straightforward answer for you. That's why we have chosen the Azure Data Lake Storage account in the landing layer. That is one of the, I can say that one of the interview question, if somebody is really want to test how you have defined your architecture. Okay, we have got two storage based, file based and database, and we know the reason for why we have choose the file based storage in the landing layer. That is the one of the good question, to be honest, if you really test it. Okay. Yeah.
Raghu, sorry to interrupt.
No
you.
problem at all.
This can we tell that even the cost wise storing huge data, let's say if it is in PARQ, even though it is a structured one,
Yeah.
storing it in a relational database would cost wise.
Yeah, that is the additional 5. Definitely that's the additional valid point. Cost wise also, database will be always costlier than this one. But still, the client decides that the business needs that to be used as a landing layer, they will go for it. They don't mind the cost actually, if it's giving the business benefit. The other big reason is that even though it's structured at the moment, in the future, the unstructured or semi-structured can come actually, because of the modern data analytical projects are evolving. We can't able to fix the source systems actually. That is the main thing, and cost definitely we can add it definitely. Hope you agree with that one, Balji, or you want to discuss it personally, you can call me. Okay. Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, okay. The data processing service selection, again I will put the same question here. Again I explained in the video why we have used Azure Data Factory for, in this course is specific to Azure Data Factory. That is the one factor. Okay. We don't have any other tools actually. I talked about it, but there is a very good reason for using the data factory, because any data engineering project, if somebody is not using data factory in the ingestion layer, they are making the huge mistake in my opinion. Even Databricks could be able to ingest the data from different source systems. That's true. But the data factory is the ideal choice for landing layer. And any of you can explain why the data factory is the reason for using in the landing layer?
I think because it supports many data sources.
Absolutely.
So that will be able to, yeah.
Perfect. So the data factory has got the inbuilt connector for almost any of the source systems that you are referring it today. Mainstream enterprise software applications, any of them you are referring it, it will be there. Okay. I think 150 different database connectors. Okay. To do the coding for establishing the connectivity to the source systems in the secured manner alone takes at least a day or 2 days, probably 3 days even sometimes. Okay. So it's in a, when you created a linked service, if you have gone through the course, when you created your first linked service, probably how much time it took you to create the linked service to connect to the source system? Nobody created linked service yet?
It was a short time.
Yeah.
It was just a click thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you already get it done.
Probably a 2 minutes maximum, isn't it, Paula?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So we are really saving lots and lots of development time to establishing the connectivity to the source system. The other thing is that when reading the data from the source systems, the data factory internally fine tuning these connectors. Okay, it is increasing the bandwidth, it is increasing the Unicode formats, and any special characters will come. The data factory development is happening in backend. Okay, we do not know that. I literally checked the data factory and the Databricks by writing into the SQL Server database. Okay, one specific exercise I have done it. When data factory is writing it, the throughput is in within 1 second. How many records can it be able to write it? The data factory could be able to go up to 200,000 records in a second. Okay, that's the one benchmarking I have done. In the Databricks, I couldn't able to go beyond 20,000. Okay, by writing the code. Okay, so that is the other specific reason they are trying to improve this connector, because that is their marketing value. They are not only giving the connectors, they are giving the best connectors in the way to transform the data. So that is the main reason we have chosen the data factory in the landing layer. Now we come to the transform and integrate layer. Probably it may come to you actually, is the interview question. Why you didn't choose Databricks and why did you choose data factory for your transformation and integrate layer? Okay, the simple question, the simple answer is my data is not unstructured. Okay, using data factory, I can able to process structured and semi-structured data. I can able to perform any type of the transformations, and you are going to explain all the transformations that we have done in this course. So if the data goes to semi-structure or image or music or video, then only the Databricks needed. That is my very strong opinion. But people are including me, okay, when Databricks got introduced, people are very eager how to use those technologies. So for that reason, every project now will have data factory in Databricks, even though Databricks is not really required. Okay, so your answer for that question is the data, our data is not unstructured. We didn't have experience on working on unstructured data. Our project is specific to structured and semi-structured data. That's why we have chosen the data factory. Now probably I come to the model and publish layer. I'm trying to put the question in the other way around. Why we have chosen Azure SQL database for reporting database instead of choosing the data lake storage Gen 2?
Reporting, for reporting purpose, we just need if it is in the rows and columns,
Yeah.
a relational database, it would be easier
Yeah.
to form a data model.
Yeah.
For example, fact and dimension tables in traditional
Yeah.
warehouse.
Yeah.
Similarly, I hope it will be easier if it is in relational database.
Absolutely fine. Actually, the other thing that you brought it as actually a good point. Actually, it's, even though it's an expensive product comparing to the file-based storage, they try to use the Azure SQL database because whatever Balaji said is true. On top of that, okay, for example, we'll take the booking.com example, okay, considering the vice president of who is handling these booking systems, only the hotel booking systems, their time is very precious, to be honest, actually. Okay, they do not want to wait too long to see the report, actually, because I know some of my classmates, even at the vice president level, when I look at their calendar in the day, they will show it. Actually, probably they will be free for 30 to 45 minutes in a day. Actually, most of the time is booked with meetings. Okay, before going to the meeting, they need the answer for some of the questions. Okay, all of those questions are coming from these reports. Actually, if they are going for a meeting, why a specific region is not performing, the data is there in these reports. Okay, they can't able to wait 5 minutes even to refresh the report. The database is always faster than file-based storage. Okay, that's why it's expensive. So the quicker response time, and also other option is that at row level, okay, when I talked about row level, have I got any data here? Probably I can able to explain in one of the landing layer file, actually. Okay, landing daily pricing, the security is can be set it at, okay, when I mention row level, one row, okay, at this row level, I can able to set the security on the database, who can able to view this row and who can't able to view this row. Okay, that is a very highly advanced security mechanism, because I can't able to set this row level security in the file based storage. At the maximum, I can set it at the file based storage, because I can set it at this manage ACL, whether that file can be read by someone or not. But there is no way, this is file based storage. Okay, I mean the exactly in the Azure Data Lake storage account, there is no way I can able to set the security at the low row level, and the output that we produce used by very high level management people. Okay, that security is also very important, even though it looks like why we need to set it at row level security. That's a other possibility. The response is very quick. Bringing the changes into the database will be quicker than bringing the changes into the file, and it directly support the dimensional data modeling. And the Balaji said it's really very easy for presenting the data in the database and quick response time. Okay, those all are the reason we have chosen Azure SQL database instead of using the data lake storage Gen 2 account. Hope, because here it's specifically in the when come to the architecture, you need to justify why you have chosen the specific technologies. Data security framework, probably I will take it little later, it's too early. At this point in time, probably only one thing you just keep in mind, either you understand it or not understand it, it's absolutely fine. Just keep that mind, because this service need to be registered in your mind. Okay, whatever the users, whatever the services, whatever we are setting up inside your Azure account, everything registered under this Microsoft Entra ID. Okay, previously it's called Microsoft Azure Active Directory, now they are calling it as Entra ID. You can able to find it out the list of users in this tenant here, and you can able to find it out the list of services that you have created it here. Okay, and all of the permissions for the user settings you can able to do it here. So we will do that one very properly, but for the time being, just remember that Microsoft Entra ID is the one which is storing, it knows actually what is data factory about it. For example, if I go to data factory access control, if I try to include you into my Azure Data Factory, I can able to invite you actually into my Azure Data Factory account. I can able to give you access to you to access my Azure Data Factory. That's not all possible because of this Microsoft Entra ID. This is the one controlling everything. Okay, just remember that one. Probably we'll discuss it again and again. When we discuss the security architecture, then we will go through any questions on the security side. The operational support plan is specifically once you complete the development and the code is running in the production, how you monitor on daily basis. If a job fails, how you rerun it. If a job fails, how you know about it. Okay, the job is failed. Those things are captured in the monitor and log analytics. Again, the Microsoft Entra ID will be bringing it. The key vault is for storing the secrets. At the moment, we are not storing the secrets anywhere. So security framework and the operational one, we covered it, but we will bring it the interview questions in the little later part of the course.